And welcome back, everybody, to this Thanksgiving edition of American Sunrise. All right, Steve Gruber back with us on this Thanksgiving holiday. Steve, we talked about Biden's potential replacements in the first block, but what about Trump's VP pick? You know, one of the hottest topics, it gets people really fired up. It's about Trump, who had nice words recently for Tucker Carlson and then took him to a UFC fight. Everyone has a different opinion on this. I think it's a horrible idea. I'm curious to get your take.
All right, well, let me give you the list that I have it. First of all, Kim Reynolds, not on the list. I can tell you that. Right. She's been disqualified.
Yeah.
For various reasons. Carrie Lake, also not on the list. Why? They need that U.S. Senate seat in Arizona. Yeah. That's why. So Carrie Lake's much more valuable as a senator from Arizona than she is as vice president, going to funerals of, countries we don't even know the names of. So here's the list that I have. Kristi Noem. She still sits in this grouping. I like Kristi Noem. Here's another one that might surprise you. Sarah Sanders, the governor of Arkansas, the most effective press secretary that I've ever seen work. And she's somebody that can sit there. Can you imagine her in a debate with whoever the Democrats put up there? She will fillet them with a smile on her face and do it like a professional, because she has been. Two other people I really like. You want to talk about diversity on the ticket. Two other people I really like. I really like Mark Robinson, the lieutenant governor of the state of North Carolina. I think he is terrific, charismatic, a Christian who is loud and proud, and man, can he capture an audience. I can imagine him in a debate too. Plus, I can see him doing the big tent, get-togethers that Trump's so famous for, the big mass gatherings, and Mark Robinson being your warm-up act, pretty strong. But I also like, from the state of Florida, Byron Donalds. Very smart man, knows finances, knows money, came out of a finance degree at Florida State. His wife is an accountant with a big firm. I mean, he understands money, and that's what we need in Congress, are people that are not financially illiterate, because too many of the people that go to Congress every day have no idea how to balance a checkbook or even what that means. So there's a list of people that I think are all possible. Kristi Noem, Mark Robinson, Byron Donalds, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Tucker Carlson. Oh, it's fascinating and all, but is Tucker really going to give up $15 or $20 million a year? And look, he's pretty effective where he is. His messaging and what he does right now, he's probably the king of all media right now. I think that's fair to say. Wherever he goes, he's in Spain. That I saw him recently in Spain with the anti-socialist movement there, because he said it wasn't getting enough coverage. He's right. And so him as a voice out there of reason in the wilderness, probably more powerful than being vice president. Your thoughts?
Well, I want to ask you real quick, Steve, what about Dr. Ben Carson? Our chat really loves the idea of a Ben Carson ticket with Trump at the top.
Well, I think Ben Carson is great. I think he's a brilliant man. He's a bit dull. All right, look, we live in an age where television matters, where appeal matters, where, you have to be able to be fast on your feet and look good on the camera and talk and you got to be a little bit witty, and you got to be a little bit, and look, I've had Ben Carson on my program many times. I think the man is spectacular. I love him. And I just don't think he brings, is this a word, pizzazz? David, you're old enough to remember that word, pizzazz. I just don't think he has that little bit of showmanship. Is that right?
Yeah, and you do hear that from people. Yeah.
Yeah, I call him the chamomile tea to Trump's Red Bull, for sure. All right. All right. We gotta get to this break, but we have more with Steve Gruber coming up. We're going to hijack his Thanksgiving. And on this day in history, 1963, the longest running science fiction television show, Doctor Who, I love that show, debuted on BBC television. Over the decades, it's gained quite a cult following, even here in the United States. Back in a moment.